My 11-year-old daughter, when she woke up in the morning, would walk with a limp. I would often let her take a leave from school. One day, her teacher called me and said, "Tonight, sleep on your daughter's bed yourself. You will find out everything." I had only been lying down for 5 minutes when I felt terrified. Even today, I was calling out to my daughter. It was between 9 and 10 in the morning, but my Shanda still hadn't woken up. These days, I was very worried because of her. She had even stopped going to the madrasa. I felt as if some supernatural entity had cast its shadow over my daughter. Earlier, she used to sleep beside me all the time, but for the past few days, she had been sleeping in a separate room. In fact, for some months now, I had felt that my daughter was hiding something from me. Whenever I knocked on her door in the morning, she would take a long time to open it and seemed nervous. Even today, I had knocked on her door so many times that I was exhausted. This time, when I called out to her, she let out a faint, weak voice. When she opened the door, there was a strange gloom on her face, and she looked very disturbed. When my eyes fell on her feet, I was shocked. She was standing in a very odd manner, as if she was in some sort of pain. After a long time, my sister-in-law, Shabana, had also come to our house today. It had been 30 years since her marriage, yet she had never broken ties with her parental home. I was afraid that my daughter might come in front of her, and if she did in this condition, my sister-in-law would definitely say something. She always looked for an excuse to talk. "Oh, Sia, why isn't your daughter coming in front of me?" "What's the matter?" "It's been so long since I last met my niece," she said. She herself came and stood near me, and at that moment, my daughter became even more nervous. When I asked her to come outside, she started walking with a limp. Seeing this, my sister-in-law put her hand over her mouth in shock and said, "Sabia Baji, what has happened to your daughter at such a young age that she is walking like this? God forbid, could she be disabled?" Hearing this, my heart was torn apart. She always boasted about her daughters and would talk about other people's daughters in the same way. I said, "Shabana Baji, it's nothing like that. Today, my daughter is not feeling well. By the grace of Allah, none of my children have any such illness." My sister-in-law looked around the room and then stared at my daughter with piercing eyes, as if she was deeply analyzing her condition. I closed my daughter's room door and told her to get ready and come outside. A long time passed, but my daughter still did not come out of her room. Left with no choice, I had to go inside myself. But the scene in front of me left me completely shocked. When I looked at my daughter's pillow, my eyes widened in disbelief. I could never have imagined that my daughter would hide such a big thing from me. But at that moment, Shabana Baji was calling me, so I remained silent. I didn't question my daughter about anything. She was in the bathroom attached to her room, getting ready. After a while, she came out, dressed in very fine clothes. Seeing her outfit, I became extremely worried. The first thought that crossed my mind was, where did she get these clothes? I had never bought these for her. These were brand new clothes, ones I had never seen before, and my daughter had never even asked for them. It was clear that someone else had given her these clothes. However, my sister-in-law was unbothered by this. Instead, she lovingly admired my daughter and said, "MashaAllah, your daughter is so beautiful. May Allah protect her from the evil eye." Saying this, she laughed. I didn't understand the meaning behind her laughter. After a while, she got up and left. The moment she was gone, I lashed out at my daughter. "Where did you get these clothes from? I never bought them for you." She replied, "Ami, you always overthink. I go to the madrasa and I have a very rich friend. I told you about Faiza, didn't I? A few days ago on my birthday, she gave me these clothes as a gift." But then something strange happened. That day, my daughter didn't mention going to the madrasa at all. Instead, she stayed home and said, "I am very tired today. I just want to rest." My daughter never did any household chores always saying that she felt too exhausted. This made me even more suspicious. Why was she always so tired? When she woke up in the morning, her condition seemed strange. The same thing happened the next day. She slept until 10 a.m. But when my daughter used to go to the madrasa, she would wake up at 5 a.m. Now she had completely changed her routine. She would stay up late at night and wake up late in the morning. I didn't question her, but one day, when she woke up, she was limping just like before. When she came outside, Rashida Dai was sitting there. She had come to ask me something. A long time ago, we used to work together, but I had left that job and she had progressed in it. Today, I had no idea what herbal remedy she had come to ask about. When her eyes fell on my daughter, she covered her mouth in shock and said, "Daughter, bring me a glass of water." I understood that she wanted to talk to me alone. I signaled my daughter to leave the room and she went inside. Rashida Dai then said to me, "Sia, how can you be so careless as a mother? Don't you see your daughter's condition? You need to think about this. She is a young girl. You must keep an eye on every step she takes. God forbid, if something happens tomorrow, whom will you blame? Whose hands will you search for blood on? Look at your daughter. Observe what she does, where she goes. Why is she in this condition already? She has started behaving like a married woman. Look at her clothes, her way of walking, and then look into her eyes. There is an unusual boldness in them." I found her words extremely strange. Rashida Dai was an observant woman. Just by looking at a girl's walk, she could tell if she was involved with someone or not. What she hinted at about my daughter made the ground beneath me shake. I decided that I would keep a strict watch on my daughter, follow her wherever she went, and see what she was doing. The next morning, when my daughter woke up, she was in the same condition, extremely unwell. She said, "Ami, my whole body is aching. Please massage me with oil." I said, "Okay." I brought warm oil to her room, but as soon as I entered, she hesitated and stopped me. She said, "Ami, leave it. My pain is fine now. Don't massage me. Just go from here." Seeing the nervousness on her face, I understood that she did not want me to see her body. She was definitely hiding something from me. It was as if she feared that I might notice something or find out the truth. But my daughter was unmarried. She had no relationship with anyone. Then how was it possible that she was behaving like a married woman? Rashida Dai's words echoed in my mind. "Keep an eye on your daughter." So I said, "Tonight I will sleep in your room. Keep your door open." Hearing this, she made a face and said, "Okay." But when I returned to her room a couple of hours later after finishing my work, I saw that she had locked the door from inside. I was shocked and angry. I started knocking on the door, but she had gone to sleep and did not open it. My frustration grew and my suspicions deepened. If a young daughter locks her door without reason, how can parents think positively about it? Anyway, I got busy with my work, but in the morning my daughter was in the same condition again. I said, "Today I will go to the madrasa with you." My daughter hesitated. For a long time she had chosen 2 p.m. as her time to go to the madrasa. She no longer woke up early in the morning like before, but instead attended the evening classes. I didn't like this change, nor did I understand the reason behind it. I decided that rather than sleeping in her room at night, it would be better to secretly follow her to the madrasa. What if she wasn't even going there and had been lying to me all along? That very day, I made up my mind to follow her. Around 2 p.m., she left the house wearing a burqa. I quickly wrapped myself in a black shawl and followed her. To my surprise, my daughter was heading somewhere else. The route to the madrasa was entirely different. Then I saw her stop a rickshaw, hand the driver some money and sit inside. I was shocked. Where did she get so much money to pay the rickshaw driver? I had never given her any money for personal expenses. On top of that, she was wearing an elegant outfit today. I had no choice but to stop a rickshaw as well. Luckily, the driver was someone I knew. Since I hadn't brought any money with me, he took me to my daughter's madrasa free of charge. I thanked God when I saw that my daughter had indeed gone to the madrasa and nowhere else. She stopped the rickshaw in front of the madrasa and went inside. I followed her, making sure she didn't notice me. I saw her heading toward her classroom, and I was relieved. I thought to myself, so far, I haven't found anything suspicious. Maybe I should talk to one of her teachers. They might give me some clue. I went to the staff room near the principal's office. Inside, I found only one teacher, Razia, whom I had known for a long time. I asked her, "Do you still teach Visma?" She replied, "No, she used to be in the morning shift when I taught her, but now that she attends the evening shift, I hardly interact with her." Double asterisk. Then she hesitated and added, "But I want to tell you something." Hearing this, I became alert. I said, "That's exactly why I came here, to listen. I want to know if my daughter is involved in anything inappropriate. You know her well. I can't discuss this with anyone else because it's a matter of my daughter's reputation. I know she hasn't done anything wrong, but as a mother, I'm extremely worried. I need to know everything about her. Please tell me what you know." Razia sighed, looking concerned. She said, "I can only tell you one thing. Your daughter doesn't do anything improper in the madrasa, but for some time now, I've noticed a strange change in her. Her eyes always look heavy with sleep, as if she hasn't rested at night. She walks with a limp and often complains of body pain, asking for leave because she feels sick. But before this, she was always punctual and regular." Then she added, "As far as the madrasa is concerned, our environment is very strict. We don't allow the girls to go out unnecessarily. If any student is absent without leave, we immediately inform their parents. So your daughter doesn't do anything here that should worry you, but you should observe what she does at home. How is she and how does she live? And yes, you should sleep in her room with her at night. I feel like she doesn't sleep at night. Do you sleep in your daughter's room?" I shook my head in denial. "No, my daughter's room is separate. Now she says that she has grown up, she needs to keep her things in order, and for that, she wants her own room. So we gave her a separate room." Hearing this, Bisma Madame held her head and said, "Amaji, at this age, girls are not given separate rooms. They should be kept close, and every little movement of theirs should be observed so that they do not bring shame to their parents." I was shaken upon hearing her words. I had always trusted my daughter completely, but what Bisma Ustani had just told me was also quite serious. I started recalling an incident when I had once opened my daughter's room and found 5,000 or 6,000 rupees lying there. Even at that time, I didn't understand where she had gotten so much money. I never gave her even a single rupee at home, yet she was somehow becoming rich on her own. When I got home, my mind was flooded with questions. I started wondering where my daughter had gotten this money and what she was involved in. But I couldn't ask her directly. The night passed, and in the morning, when I saw my daughter in the same strange state again, I made up my mind. I would spend the entire day with her today and also sleep in her room at night. So I did exactly that. After my daughter returned from the madrasa and I had finished all my work, I went to her room with an excuse. I thought, today I will clean my daughter's room to find any possible clues. As soon as I entered her room, my daughter looked at me in surprise and asked, "Amma, do you need something?" I replied, "No, I just realized that I haven't cleaned your room in a long time. I want to do it today." Bisma immediately stood up and said, "Amma, is this what you have left to do now? Will you clean my room? Please sit. I will clean it myself, right in front of you. If you think I leave my room dirty, that's absolutely not the case." Saying this, Bisma took the broom from my hands, made me sit on the bed, and started cleaning herself. My eyes scanned the room. I noticed brand new clothes. I got up and opened Bisma's wardrobe. She immediately ran to me and said, "Ami, what do you need?" I pushed her aside and said, "What is this Ami nonsense?" This is my daughter's room. Can't I see what's inside? When I opened the wardrobe, I saw brand new clothes hanging there. I was stunned. I remembered what Danya Ustani had told me, that my daughter had no friends, let alone anyone giving her clothes. She barely talked to anyone these days. And that birthday story was also a lie. My daughter had told me that a friend had gifted her those clothes, but that wasn't true at all. Now I realized my daughter had been lying to me. She had hidden something under her pillow again. When I lifted the pillow, I found makeup products underneath. Her face turned pale. I asked, "Where did all this come from?" She hesitated and said, "Amma, you will get angry. Actually, I tutor children and earn money from it. That's how I buy these things. And these clothes. I got them second-hand. The makeup isn't even that expensive, Amma. I just like these things. You know, I only go to the madrasa and come home in the evening. I don't do anything else that makes me happy. I don't even go out to play with other girls. Amma, you should trust me. You always look at me with such suspicion, as if I am some big criminal. What have I stolen? I haven't taken anything from you." I sighed and said, "Fine. Tonight I will sleep in your room. It's quite comfortable." Hearing this, she became very nervous. She said, "Amma, I am used to sleeping alone. I stay up very late at night." "What will you do here?" I replied, "No, I will sleep here tonight, no matter what." She hesitated and then said, "All right, you can sleep here. You must be tired. Let me bring you some milk." She went to the kitchen and returned with a glass of milk. I asked, "What is this?" She said, "You must drink it, Amma. You're exhausted." Upon her insistence, I drank the milk. After that, I fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up, I had no idea that 6 or 7 hours had passed. I was furious. I had slept in my daughter's room to keep watch at night, but she had made me drink milk and put me to sleep. When I opened my eyes, she was sitting in front of me. She was dressed in a bright white outfit. I was shocked to see her like that. I asked, "Daughter, why are you so dressed up early in the morning?" She replied, "Amma, mornings are meant for getting ready. And today is Friday, a blessed day." I thought I should dress up. Is and how she lives, and yes, you should sleep with her in her room at night. I feel like she doesn't sleep at night. Do you sleep in your daughter's room? I shook my head and said no. My daughter has a separate room. She says she's grown up now and needs space for her things, so we gave her a separate room. Hearing this, Madame Bisma held her head and said, "Dear mother, at this age, daughters should not be given separate rooms. They should be closely watched, and every little action of theirs should be monitored to ensure they don't bring disgrace to their family." Her words sent a chill down my spine. I had always thought I knew everything about my daughter, but what Bisma Ustani told me was shocking. Suddenly, a memory came rushing back, the moment I opened my daughter's door and saw bundles of 5,000 rupee notes lying on her bed. Even then, I didn't understand where she got so much money from, considering I never even gave her a single rupee. But now, she seemed to be getting rich on her own. I returned home filled with countless questions. Where did my daughter get all this money from? What was she involved in? But I couldn't ask her directly. That night passed with these troubling thoughts, and by morning I had made up my mind. I would stay with my daughter the entire day and even sleep in her room at night. As soon as she came back from the madrasa, I had finished all my chores. I entered her room, pretending that I wanted to clean it. Maybe I'd find some clue. The moment I stepped in, she looked at me suspiciously. "What's wrong, Amma? Do you need something?" she asked. I replied, "Not really, but it's been a while since I cleaned your room. I thought I'd do it today." She immediately stood up and said, "Amma, are you really going to clean my room?" "You don't have to do that. I'll clean it myself in front of you. If you think I leave my room dirty, you're mistaken." She took the broom from my hands, made me sit on the bed, and started cleaning herself. But my eyes were scanning the entire room. I saw brand new clothes hanging in the wardrobe. I got up and opened the closet. My daughter quickly came over and asked, "Amma, what are you looking for?" I ignored her and said, This is my daughter's room. Can't I see what's inside? Inside the wardrobe, I found fancy, expensive clothes. My heart sank. I recalled Danya Ustani's words. Your daughter has no friends. She barely talks to anyone, let alone receive gifts. And yet, she had told me that her friend had gifted her these clothes. But that was a lie. I checked under her pillow and found makeup items. Her face turned pale. Where did all this come from? I asked. She hesitated. Amma, you'll get angry. I teach tuition classes to children and earn money. I buy these things with that money. And the clothes? They're second-hand. The makeup isn't expensive either. Amma, you know me. I only go to the madrasa and come home. I don't go out with friends or play like other girls. I have nothing else to make me happy. You should trust me instead of looking at me like I'm some kind of thief. I sighed. All right, tonight, I'll sleep in your room. Your bed looks very comfortable. She panicked. Amma, I'm used to sleeping alone. I stay up late at night. What will you do here? I insisted. No matter what, I'm staying here tonight. She reluctantly agreed. Okay, you must be tired. Get some rest. I'll bring you a glass of milk. She went to the kitchen and returned with a glass of milk. Please drink this, Amma. You must be exhausted. I drank the milk at her insistence, but soon after I fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up, I realized that 6 or 7 hours had passed. I was furious. I had stayed in her room to keep an eye on her, yet she had tricked me into drinking milk and put me to sleep. When I opened my eyes, she was sitting in front of me, wearing a shiny white dress. I was stunned. Why are you all dressed up so early in the morning? She smiled and said, Amma, one should always dress nicely in the morning, and today is Jummah, such a blessed day. I wanted to look my best. I sighed. Why are you saying things like this? You go to the madrasa, you learn the Quran. What sin have you committed that makes you speak this way? She fell silent, her eyes filled with sadness. Then she suddenly said something that shook me to my core. Amma, find me a good husband, get me married. I will save up for my dowry myself. I earn money by tutoring kids. I'll handle all my expenses, but please don't treat me as a burden like the rest of your daughters. Our home environment is already bad. I don't want things to get worse because of me. Her words deepened my suspicion. Why was she talking about marriage at such a young age? There was no hesitation, no shyness, just blunt determination. That entire day, I was restless. That evening, my sister-in-law, Sabia, arrived with a bundle of clothes. I asked, What's this? Why are you here? She smiled and said, I've come to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage for my son, Nasim. I was shocked. Have you lost your mind? Your son has the worst reputation, and you think I'll marry my daughter to him? Let me tell you about my sister-in-law. She married into a family of performers and dancers. At first, she claimed her husband would leave this profession for her. But after a few years, we found out that not only had he resumed his work, but he had also made Sabia join him. This was devastating for us. We cut ties with her, but somehow she always managed to reconnect. And now she had the audacity to ask for my daughter's hand in marriage. I asked, Why are you doing this? She smirked. Because your daughter is just like us. She works with us. I take her with me every night. She dances for hours. And now you think you can refuse me? Remember how you once insulted me, called me a disgrace. Now, you know how it feels when someone you love is involved in something shameful. Her words crushed me. I felt regret, despair, and helplessness all at once. She continued, Either you give your daughter's hand to Nasim, or you'll never be able to show your face to anyone again. Right now, he's willing to accept her, but later he won't. I was shattered. What could I do? When a daughter is disgraced, there's no use blaming anyone else. This is a lesson for all parents. Always be gentle with your children and keep a close watch on their actions. Be their friend. Ask them what's going on in their minds. If we understand them in time, we can prevent such tragedies.